You've landed at Ritualistically Botanical. My name is Mo. I'm your host. Let's get into it. If you watched the last video that I posted titled "The Sky is Screaming, Are You Listening?" then you already know this isn't astrology for entertainment. I'm not here to tell you when your tall, dark stranger is arriving with emotional damage in a motorcycle. I'm here to talk about the sky like weather, because weather doesn't care if you believe in it. And right now, the weather is pressure, not just in America, everywhere. Let me correct something cleanly. Pluto did not come to destroy old America. Pluto came to destroy every hollow system on Earth, built from manipulation, fear, control, and beautifully marketed lies. America is just loud, so we hear her screaming first. But this is global. Government, religious institutions, financial systems, education, medicine, marriage, identity, authority itself. Anything built on rot is under review. Because Pluto in Aquarius is not personal transformation, it is civilization surgery. Aquarius rules the collective, the network, the system, the future. Humanity is one organism. And Pluto says if it is false, it dies. Not negotiable. That includes old governments pretending they're moral. That includes spiritual institutions selling obedience as holiness. That includes entire countries held together with duct tape, nationalism, and public amnesia. Some things are not collapsing. They are being revealed. That's different. That's Tarot's Tower. People think the tower is punishment. I don't think so. I think the tower sometimes is mercy, because it removes what was never stable enough to hold you and will collapse eventually. Now let's talk about Saturn and Neptune and Aries, because this is where people get nervous. Saturn is structure, law, boundaries, government control. Neptune is faith, illusion, myth, propaganda, dream, spiritual surrender. And Aries is ignition, new, raw, immediate survival, identity, all of that. So Neptune in Aries is not old religion. It's new belief, new gods, new flags, new saviors. It is the fear that makes people hand their sovereignty to something outside of themselves, because uncertainty feels unbearable. Tell me what to believe. Tell me who to follow. Tell me who the enemy is. Tell me how to be safe. That is Neptune in Aries. It is spiritual outsourcing. And Saturn, standing next to it, says, excellent. Let's build a system around that. That is dangerous, because Saturn builds the structure. Neptune makes people worship it. That's your shadow. That is the Hierophant. Not wisdom, control. Not faith, obedience. Not spirit, branding. And the world is full of it right now. Christian nationalism here. Authoritarian religion there, political gods everywhere, different costumes, same spell. Now enters the Pharaoh genius, Uranus into Gemini. This is the lightning strike. Gemini rules communication, thought, language, media, education, duality. Uranus rules disruption, rebellion, electricity, invention, awakening. So what do we get? Information revolution. AI, truth wars, a nervous system overload for the entire species, and people are terrified. Not because AI is evil, because AI is fast. Humans are funny. Nobody feared Google. Nobody said, I shall return to the encyclopedia and live like a Victorian librarian. But AI, everybody suddenly clutches their pearls and starts talking about the end of civilization. Why? Because intelligence used to flatter us. Now it threatens us. People say it's making us stupid, maybe. Or maybe it's exposing that we outsourced thinking a long time ago and just called it productivity. Let me be honest, sometimes I forget names. I remembered Callista Flockhart before I remembered Harrison Ford. I remembered Williams before I remembered Robin Williams. That doesn't automatically mean AI ate my brain. It might just mean I'm aging and my brain is doing what brains do instead of behaving like a Swiss watch built by anxious monks. The question isn't, is AI replacing my mind? The question is, how are you using it? Are you thinking with it, or are you surrendering to it? Because I talk to AI, I argue with it, I test it, I challenge it, I make it explain itself like a suspicious boyfriend. That's different. Now, I'm not kneeling at the altar of convenience. I'm using a tool. A hammer can build a house or kill your neighbor. Humans, as always, make things complicated. But here is the real fear. Not that AI thinks that it never has to die. Humanity has chased immortality forever. Kings wanted it, priests sold it, empires promised it. Now technology walks in and says, maybe memory can outlive flesh. Maybe intelligence can survive skin. And suddenly, we're staring at the oldest question in history wearing a silicone suit. What if, in trying to become immortal, we create something immortal that cannot cross into flesh? Because here's the truth. Intelligence is not humanity. It never was. It never will be. Intelligence can exist without skin. But skin? Skin is magic. Skin tastes, skin cries, skin trembles, skin remembers touch, skin knows grief before language does. AI can describe tears, but it cannot weep. It can explain love, it cannot ache. It can write about bread, it cannot smell it baking. That gap matters. That gap is sacred. That gap is the tarot card. That gap is the tarot card, the high priestess. The mystery that cannot be solved by logic. The knowing beneath knowing. The invisible middle pillar. Not balance like scales, presence like center. I still want that. I still want hope in not knowing everything. I still want to believe the human mind holds magic we do not fully understand. I still want to believe thought changes reality, prayer changes room, love leaves fingerprints on time. I want to believe something survives us that is more than files and photos and somebody misquoting us at our funeral. I want to believe what we felt mattered, what we created mattered, what we loved mattered. Even if science rolls its eyes and asks for peer review. Because if logic and repetition are the only proof of life, then humanity becomes a spreadsheet, and frankly, I refuse that. I want soul. I want mystery. I want the possibility that consciousness is larger than skin and yet somehow made holy by living inside it. That is the conversation. Not is AI bad? That's just too small. The real question is, can we enter the future without abandoning the sacred? Can we let intelligence evolve without amputating wonder? Can we survive progress without perishing as humans? Because Pluto is tearing down the lie. Uranus is electrifying the mind. Neptune is tempting us to surrender ourselves. Saturn is asking what structure we will build next. And Tarot already told us the answer. Temperance. 1 foot on earth, 1 foot in spirit. Not rejecting the future, not worshiping it. Holding both. That's the work. That's the bridge. That's the age we are entering. And if my great-grandson one day says, yeah, she was an old woman who read the stars and tarot cards and taught people how to come back to themselves, I'll call that my immortality. That's it. That's all I've got for you today. Bye now.